What's up, everyone? Eddie Mercado here with BloodyElbow.com, and I'm about to speak with the 6'2" Oluwale Bamgbose as he is headed to UFC Fight Night 107 in London to take on Tom Breese in the middleweight division. So let's give Bamgbose a call and find out what he's been up to since his last fight, find out his thoughts on traveling to the United Kingdom, and maybe what he has in store for Tom Breese.
Yeah.
Mr. Oluwale Bamgbose, how are you, sir?
How's it going?
It's going well. It's going well. Thank you for taking out the time. I appreciate you. You're 6-2 right now, headed into UFC Fight Night 107 in London. How are things?
Yeah, so far so good, man. Winding down on the training. Um, mastering the game plan further. Focus, man, and then finishing the job, man. Doing what I gotta do, baby.
I dig it. Now, you're 6-2, and all 6 of your wins came inside the first round. How would you describe your style?
Well, to be honest, man, I'm just one of those types, man. I like to fight, and when I fight, I bring it, and it's one of those things where, sometimes you don't plan it, Ideally, you would like to go in and out, but sometimes, you're faced with a tough cookie, and you got to spread out the energy and the game plan and the strategy. But overall, man, I just go in there and I do my best to showcase my best. That's number one, and number two, to win. So sometimes it just relates to fireworks,
Okay.
When I give my all, man, there's going to be fireworks.
Okay, and what would you say is your biggest foundation as far as a martial arts discipline is concerned?
As far as martial arts is concerned, man, to be honest, man, now that I've been I'm well acquainted with what MMA is, it's just overall understanding my creativity and my style. But it stems from Muay Thai and grappling. Muay Thai and grappling are, I think, some of the, or specifically you could say, so you can, I would say Muay Thai, wrestling, and jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
I think those are the essentials for being the best. Luckily for me, I have more martial arts that I'm pretty good at, and that I'm a master at. So I have more weapons in my arsenal. But for the most part, for up and coming fighters out there, if you wanna just how can I say, if you want the process of your growth to be expedited, just focus on Muay Thai, wrestling, and jiu-jitsu. You'll be good with those three, and then from there you can add on any other martial art that you feel would make you more of a monster.
Okay. Now, you got signed to the UFC in your 6th professional fight. That's pretty early in a career. Have you met any celebrities or maybe like anyone that you're a fan of, or have you ever been starstruck by meeting anybody yet?
Yeah, man. I mean, my first couple of fights, man, I was able to meet a few stars, man, and I was like, wow, I'm amongst a brand new crowd, man, a crowd of kings and queens. And it felt good, man. I'm right where I belong, and luckily for me, after 5 fights, I was able to prove myself worthy of being amongst the greats in the world. And it's my job to show why I'm in the UFC, why I belong in the UFC, and why I'm ultimately the future 185 champ. For me, that's the goal, man. The goal is to get the belt, and the goal is to solidify myself in MMA as one of the best fighters ever to put on MMA and or UFC gloves. And step in that cage, man. Every time I fight, that's what's on the line for me. My legacy.
Okay.
It's my time to prove, why I was chosen to be there. Why, one day when I open up a school, why people should come to my school. This is what you will learn. This is what you can expect. When you visit my school. And I'm a very futuristic thinker. I like to think. I don't like to think about too much of the present, although it's smart to do that. But at the same time, you don't want to forget about the future in terms of where you're going and what you want.
Yeah.
Your target is goals. And
Yeah.
for me, I see myself having a very big school, and I see myself having success in it through, my style. I've been so connected to MMA that and connected to a few martial arts that I've been able to come up with my own style. Now, not a lot of fighters can say that, but I can because I love this sport so much and I've invested so much into it that now I literally create moves, which is amazing for me, and that just that just puts me in a position to accept the fact that I will be a leader or a trend starter in MMA, and my job is to show that every time I fight. So that way, it isn't questioned.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Now, you had your debut short notice against veteran Uriah Hall, and then your second fight was against Daniel Sarafian, and you ended up kicking him in the head, putting him out with a couple ground strikes in a minute flat. Another first round knockout to your credit. How much different was your second performance as opposed to the first time out?
So the second performance was different because I had a little bit more time. Um, my first fight was against a veteran with only a week and a half preparation. And Uriah Hall is he's no joke. But at the same time, he's not as dangerous as I would say, top, 10 or 15 in my division, in my 185 UFC division. But he's to be respected. And I wish I had more time to prepare for him, but I didn't, and it is what it is. I did what I could, but I didn't really fight him knowing my strengths. After my fight with him, I realized that I'm actually faster than him. Oh, wow! After I looked at the footage, I was like, oh man, I was scoring, man. Oh, okay. But inside the fight, I'm not gonna lie, nerves got the best of me. I also, was a little bit in my mind. I was like, wow, I'm actually fighting Uriah Hall right now. I mean, I've sparred with him before, but to actually fight him in front of that capacity crowd, it was pretty intense. I'm not gonna lie. It's my first, big fight, a big show. But it is what it is. As a fighter in the UFC, your job is to adapt fast. If you cannot, you're not going to survive. And I quickly understood that. And my second fight, I told myself, dude, who cares about being nervous? Who cares about who's in front of you? Get the job done. Get the job done. And that's what I did that, my second time around. And my third fight didn't end the way I wanted it to.
Right.
But it is what it is. I was able to go against another veteran, 185er. I had less days. I believe the last fight I had he was more dangerous than Uriah Hall and Cesar Ferreira. But I was able to, floor him a few times, and we were able to go toe to toe. I wish that I was able to give Uriah Hall just half of that, and I guarantee you I would have finished him. I would have finished Uriah Hall if I came at him with the same aggression, the same speed, the same tenacity that I came at Cesar with. Uriah wouldn't have stood a chance. But unfortunately, I didn't really unlock what it is that relates to my full potential when I fought Uriah. So he got away with one. It's okay. But I'm thankful for that loss because what it did was it got me better. I was able to work on weaknesses that I showed in that fight and make those weaknesses my strength. And here I am today, man, ready to show why I'm a complete fighter, number one, and number two, why I'm the future holder of that belt. I'm telling you, that belt is mine, man. No one's going to be able to stop me. I have an unbeatable style, and I'm going to show it March 18th.
Okay. Now, against Daniel Sarafian, you kind of did this kata hand movement that just looked like it puzzled him. It made him freeze. And then you kicked him in the head, and that dropped him, and that's what set up the beginning to the end. Is that what you mean when you say you kind of have your own style?
Exactly. That is exactly what I mean. And this is what guys are going to have to worry about. And I know, I'm a man of trial and error. If you try something and it works, dude, continue. If you try something and it doesn't, don't do it again. So for me, I realized that my style is actually really effective. My styling, creating and just doing moves that are not that fighters are not used to is actually something that I should continue, that I have to continue, that I will continue. And this is what's going to allow me to have that belt, that 185 title, that 185 UFC title around my waist. I'm going to clear my way to the top, baby.
Let me ask you this. Okay, so you fought Uriah Hall on short notice. That got you into the UFC. Mutante, Cesar Ferreira, you fought him on 7 days' notice. What made you take that fight on such short notice?
Yeah. So basically when we take that fight is because, it relates to just, it was an opportunity that was presented to me. I wish there was a better opportunity, but hey, that was the available opportunity that was presented to me. So for me, it's like, what any fighter that's put in front of me, man, that's it. And that's why I took the fight, man.
What'd you think of going outside of the first round? How did it feel to go 15 minutes?
I'm not gonna lie. It was decent. I wish it felt a little better, but my first 15 minute, my first 3-rounder in the UFC, it was intense. I'm not gonna lie. But I'm glad I felt it because now I know what it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't wait to go into later rounds in my future fights if that's where it goes. I can't wait to go there again. Yeah, maybe the scouting report on me is that, he only has stand-up or he doesn't have a gas tank. Well, you got another thing coming. If you think that, I only have stand-up, you're going to have a rude awakening. Number two, if you think that I don't have a gas tank or cardio, I didn't make it this far because, number one, I have flaws. Or even if I did have flaws, that I didn't make the necessary arrangements to correct them. That's my job as a fighter, to adapt, to get better. And I can't wait to show all that I've improved in this fight, March 18th.
Okay, now you're headed to UFC Fight Night 107, taking on Tom Breese in London, England. What are your thoughts about traveling overseas?
Dude, I'm excited, man. It's my first time in Europe, London specifically, and it's an honor to fight for the UFC, in Europe, in London. So for me, it's a huge opportunity for me to gain a new fan base. Once again, to get my name out there, to get my style out there, and to let people know I'm coming.
Okay, are you going to do any sightseeing or anything when you're over there?
Yeah, I'm actually going to do that. But I don't want to get too carried away with the vacation kind of mindset.
Right,
so,
right.
Yeah, I'm a sightsee here and there, but my job is to focus, man, and ultimately win. But I'm definitely going to sightsee.
All right, now what do you think of your opponent, Tom Breese? He's 10-1 right now overall, 3-1 in the UFC. He's a finisher like yourself. He's finished 9 of his 10 opponents. He's a tri-star guy, comes from a big camp. What do you think of him?
To be honest, man, I believe that he's cocky. He's a good fighter. His record speaks for itself. But he's not the only great fighter out there. And for him to tell me, I don't know if you heard about it, but he was talking smack about him being levels above me. And for me, it's interesting because I know the caliber of fighters that I fought. No offense, were better than his list of fighters that he's fought in the UFC so far. So he better realize that he's going to get that. He's going to get that pressure, that intensity, everything that relates to my experiences that I've gained so far in the UFC with the high level opponents that I've faced, the bigger opponents that I've faced. He will feel it. And at the end of the day, fighting someone as tall as him is not new to me. But I'm pretty sure I am the first type of fighter he has fought in the UFC that presents my type of style. Speed, power, etc., etc. So I watched video on him. I saw a lot of the guys he's fought. He seemed to have many advantages. But let's see if he's gonna figure out the advantage against me. And the only advantage I see is height. That's it. But at the end of the day, my job is to, dismantle every opponent in front of me.
Okay.
And when he gives me a chance,
Do
whether
you
he gives me a chance or not, I'm going to dismantle him. If he doesn't give me a chance, I'm going to force the dismantling. If he gives me a chance, I'm going to finish.
do you
So
think
either
the
way, I'm going to test all that trash talk he mentioned about being levels above me. I'm going to definitely test it. I have no choice. You won't get my best, Tom Breese. And I'm positive you're not going to be able to handle it. And that's that. You brought out my best. You're going to get it. Next time, you'll be best to just keep your mouth shut and just fight.
okay?
Instead of challenging me and saying that your level's above me. You have no clue what kind of monster you're facing. I'm a monster, man. I'm a beast.
Absolutely,
It is what it is.
absolutely.
You've trained with great fighters, but I have too. Just because you train with great fighters, it doesn't mean you're them. Just because I train with great fighters, it doesn't mean that I'm them. You're you when you're in that cage. You're no one else but yourself. All right?
Very true. Very true. Do you think
That's my message to me.
do you think the crowd's gonna have any impact on the fight?
As far as I go, it doesn't matter to me. The crowd is going to enjoy, unfortunately, seeing one of their own get, lose. I don't compete in the UFC to play games, man. I don't compete to lose. And I don't care where I am. Yeah, and that's the only advantage he has as well again too, right? And the home crowd. That's it. That's the only thing he has, man. I'm sorry to say, man. And at the end of the day, once that cage door closes, that advantage of the crowd is going to be eliminated because it's just me and you, a mano.
I dig it, man. I dig it. How's training camp going for this one?
It's going great so far. The goal was to avoid injuries. God blessed me with that. To avoid just relaxing. Obviously that's definitely not the case. I had a lot of time to prepare for Tom. I had a lot of time to mentally prepare for him, physically prepare for him, spiritually prepare for him, prepare for him on all sorts of levels, in terms of, watching video, coming up with a game plan, so it's a great training camp so far, the longest I've ever had. So I'm excited, man. When I get training camps, when I get time, at least a month and a half to train for a guy, he's in trouble because, unfortunately, I've mastered your style. And I already know what you're going to do. And if you make one mistake, you're done. And if you don't make a mistake, I'm going to make you make a mistake, or I'm going to force my way because my job is to win. So whether you give it to me or whether I have to take it, the fight is mine.
Okay, how do you see it ending on March 18th?
I mean, to be honest, it could end anyhow. It could end anyhow. It could end. I wouldn't be surprised if it ends in any kind of way, to be honest. But I'm expecting, I've trained for the long haul. If I goes the distance, I wouldn't be surprised either. If I get a knockout, I wouldn't be surprised either. If I get a submission, I wouldn't be surprised either. If I get a TKO, I wouldn't be surprised either. Obviously, those are the only 4 ways you can win. But like I said, I've trained for this fight for the long haul. I think Tom's game plan is to test my cardio or to test fitness levels or whatever. And yeah, man, whether he was going to do that or not, my job was to show that my cardio could last with the best of them. And that's what I want to do. Obviously, I don't want to force it. I don't want to force anything. Whatever I see, whatever opportunity I see in that cage, I'm going to exploit it, period.
Okay, I dig it. Now, what would be next for you? Who would you want to face after Tom Breese? You kind of called someone out after Daniel Sarafian, but you didn't really mention a name.
Yeah, to be honest, anyone, to be honest. I mean, it doesn't really matter to me. I mean, whoever the UFC feels I should fight next, let's bring it on. Whoever calls me out, you call me out. Let's make it happen, man. If there's any 185ers out there in the UFC who wants to fight me, let's make it happen, man. But I don't call people out. And that message was actually to Uriah Hall.
Okay.
when after the Daniel Serafine fight. It was me seeing that got away with one. But I'm gonna get you back.
Okay, so is that still something?
I didn't like that. That left a very sour taste in my mouth. The way he shook my mouthpiece, grabbed it, and tossed it to the side. It left a very sour taste in my mouth. And I hopefully before my career ends, before in a few years before my career is over, I'll be able to fight his ass again. But I'm not too bent up on that. I don't fight him. It is what it is. But like I said, whoever the UFC puts in front of me, I can't wait to fight. But ideally, I would like to fight 2 months, 2 to 3 months after.
Okay.
After this fight, I would like a full training camp again. I would like to be given a full chance again to prove my worth and everything I have to offer. Yeah, man.
Awesome. Well, do you got any sponsors or people you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I just like to give us a shout out to my recovery endotherapy sponsors. Crowd Therapy, Long Island. Thank you so much for all you've done. Fabian Garcia, my physical therapist. Thank you so much for all you've done as well. All my gyms that I'm affiliated with in Class 1 Mixed Martial Arts, Cruise MMA, Animals MMA, Shootbox USA, Ultimate Fit Zone in Queens. All these amazing gyms that I'm affiliated with. Life Health Fitness as well, including my own academy, Holy Warrior MMA. Let's keep working, baby. Let's keep grinding. Let's work.
I dig it. Now, how can people follow you on your journey? What are your social media outlets?
So on Twitter, you can follow me and or find me on Holy Warrior MMA. On Instagram, same thing, Holy Warrior MMA. On Facebook, you can follow and or like my fight page, Holy War Angel. And yeah, man, definitely, man. I'm here for the fans. I'm here to put on the show. I'm here to display, the true essence of mixed martial arts, and I hope the fans enjoy it. My job is to just do my best. So you guys are gonna get my best. So expect it every single time I step foot in that cage.
Oh, real quick, the nickname, Holy War Angel. Where does this stem from?
Man, it stems from my relationship with God, man. Before I started my career, I believe God gave me the go ahead. So by wanting to him, I wanted a name that was intense and that had him. Holy is a very profound, pure word that only reflects and represents God. So I knew having that name meshed into the other names, or meshed with the other names rather, would certainly be very powerful and relate to God, obviously. And so I have a new nickname as well, and or alter ego in the cage, and the nickname is as follows: the Lion Gorilla.
The Lion Gorilla.
That's right. That relates to my alter ego in the cage as a grappler. My grappling style is like a lion gorilla, man. So, it's gonna be exciting. I can't wait for you and the fans to meet him.
Okay, yeah, I'm definitely excited. Hopefully we'll get our chance. UFC Fight Night 107. Oluwale Bamgbose, thank you so much for taking out the time. Tom Breese is on your plate right now, March 18th. Best of luck to you, sir.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's dance. Holy Warrior, Lion Gorilla. Fans, get ready for the show.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Have a good one.
So there you have it. The 6-2 Oluwale Bamgbose taking on the 10-1 Tom Breese at UFC Fight Night 107 in London, England on March 18th. Go check that out. In the meantime, you can read me over at bloodyelbow.com. You can follow me on Twitter at @Mercado. If you like this interview, you can subscribe to my channel in the upper left-hand corner. Subscribe to Bloody Elbow's channel in the bottom left-hand corner. Check out the interviews on the right. Now go be a good person.